I'm going to show you how to point a custom subdomain from GoDaddy to Uscreen. So to give you an idea what I'm talking about here, let's click on settings and then domain settings. When you create your Uscreen storefront, we're actually going to provide you with a custom subdomain here, but the main domain is going to be uscreen.io. So we can change this to something that you own. And let me show you a couple other things here. When I open this, we're actually going to have an SSL certificate installed automatically for you. You don't have to worry about this when you're using our domain here, but when you point a new custom subdomain to us, we have to install a new certificate for you. And that can take about 24 hours. So definitely don't leave this into the last minute, like right before you're trying to launch. There's definitely things that can go wrong in the setup process. So it's like important to have some time to troubleshoot. And additionally, that kind of 24 hours there that I mentioned. When this is actually going on, when we're trying to install that certificate, your purchasing pages won't work. So things like entering credit cards and actually submitting purchases, those all require an SSL certificate that's valid and current to function. So again, another reason to kind of not leave it until the last moment there. Okay, so let's actually pull open our GoDaddy website here. And I'm in the domain section here, and you should see a list of your domains here. And I have uscreentutorial.online. I'm just going to click on Manage DNS. Okay, and while that's loading, I'm going to do a couple things here. Back in Uscreen, I'm going to click on Use Different Domain. We're just going to use this kind of setup wizard here. And we'll pick Custom Domain. And I'm going to pick watch.uscreentutorial.online. I own this uscreentutorial.online domain. And then as a result, and this is kind of nice, if you own a domain like this, you also own Watch, you own TV, you own Catalog. Basically, this subdomain, you can create whatever you like. It doesn't cost you anything extra either. It's part of domain services, basically, when you own this main domain here. Okay, so it kind of says here, create a Cname record through your domain register and point it to dns.uscreen.io. So let's just copy that. That's really simple here. And then we're going to go back into GoDaddy here, and we'll be on this record page. And you're going to have a bunch of records in here already. If you're using a subdomain, it's likely you're pointing your www and or your main domain somewhere else. So don't mess with those. You can just leave those. The other kind of key thing here is I am using Watch. So I just need to make sure under this name column here, there's not a watch somewhere. It's not already created. If there was, I would simply edit it. But in this case, I'm going to add a new one. I'm going to go type Cname. We'll type in watch, and you'll notice that the name column actually is the host here. It's just a little confusing in GoDaddy how they have that set up. And then points to, we already know, dns.uscreen.io. And we should hit save and we're good to go. So one other thing here, if you kind of forget what these are and copy paste and all that, I do have this help article here. Kind of has the same stuff. Cname record, TV, catalog, points to dns.uscreen.io. Okay, so what we'll also do, I'm going to go to this website called dnschecker.org, and we're going to type in that URL that we just set up. Watch.uscreentutorial.online, and under this dropdown, we have to switch this to Cname. It's going to be on a record by default, and we'll hit search. And this is just verifying that it's pointing correctly to the right place. Now you might not see, check marks everywhere. Might be a couple X's here. And that's just because it takes a while for these changes to resolve around the world. There's a lot of kind of networks trying to communicate with each other. Some can be a bit slower than others. Typically, it's pretty quick, 15 minutes, maybe an hour, worst case scenario, a day. But just keep that in mind when you're checking this, that there could be a delay here for these to propagate around the world. So now that that's checked, let's go back to Uscreen. And I can basically hit connect. I am good to go. I've done everything I need to in my registrar. And let's just hit continue. Okay, so you'll get this message here. This SSL certificate status is in progress. So again, as I mentioned, it'll take about 24 hours. Our support team has to kind of manually install these for you, make sure everything's set up correctly on our end. But in the meantime, just kind of keep an eye on that, and hopefully you've done this in advance of launching so there's no stress on your end.